I was diagnosed with general anxiety disorder when I was 9 years old, though my parents probably knew I had it starting when I was around 3. I was a really anxious kid. I had a lot of irrational fears, such as going down the slide and being shocked, or getting strep tests at the doctor, or tall trees even. I was actually terrified to be around tall trees for a number of years, and this was a big problem because I lived in a redwood forest. Eventually I outgrew these fears, but anxiety still affected my life in a lot of ways growing up. I always felt like I was alone in my classes, that I was the only kid who had anxiety, but it turns out that 1 in 10 children in America has anxiety disorder. This is a really large number, and this is a really big problem that faces a lot of teachers and a lot of administration, as well as a lot of parents. In middle school, my anxiety took the form of obsessive-compulsive disorder. I had a compulsion of washing my hands repeatedly that would get worse when I was having really bad anxiety. A lot of children who have anxiety disorders suffer from more than one. These anxiety disorders can range from panic disorder to phobias to OCD and so on. All these disorders can hinder a child's success at most anything they do, but school is among the most important. Children will spend 7 hours a day at school. Some children will spend more time with their teacher during a given school year than they'll spend with their parents. It is important that teachers as well as parents know how to deal with children with anxiety and help them succeed in their life and with their academics. Let's start with a classic example of Mad Minutes in math. For those of you who don't know, Mad Minutes is when everyone in a 3rd or 4th grade classroom gets a sheet of math problems and you try to race to finish it as fast as you can. As soon as you're done, you raise your hand and the teacher will call on you, give you your time, you write down your time, and then you wait for everyone else to be done. It's this big race to see who can finish first. This might sound like fun to someone who doesn't have anxiety disorder, but for someone who does have anxiety disorder, this is a horrifying experience. I can tell you the first time I had an anxiety attack was during Mad Minutes in 4th grade. I remember sitting there doing my work, and all around me I heard times being shouted, and I just started to hyperventilate a little bit. And I looked at my problem, I figured out how many more problems I had left, how much time it was taking people to finish, how many people were still left in the classroom. I was calculating this all in my head, trying to figure out if I was going to be the last one done. This probably should have been a tip-off about my OCD. Anyway, I started to hyperventilate. I had to leave the classroom. I didn't get to finish. I had to go to the office for a little while. And this was my first charted anxiety attack I had in school. And not only did this really negatively affect me emotionally, but it really hindered my academic performance because I couldn't do Mad Minutes because it was too stressful for me to be under this time constraint. There are many exercises that can be avoided in a classroom to prevent these kind of anxiety attacks in children who are prone to anxiety. Another big thing that children with anxiety have an issue with is social interactions. One of the things teachers can do to prevent anxiety attacks or feelings of anxiety for these children is to pick partners, to pick what topics everyone's doing, and just kind of to facilitate the group project work so that children with anxiety don't have to make these decisions by themselves in front of their peers. Little things like assigning children partners in class, choosing where they'll sit, and assigning groups topics can help children with anxiety in social interactions and also help them succeed academically. Going off that, many children with anxiety need structure in their day. Having a class schedule on the board can help them kind of figure out the order of how their day is going to go and what they're going to be doing later. I know from my experience in elementary school, it really helped every morning to be able to look at the board and see the order of what we were doing that day. So I knew in my head what we were doing and what was coming next. Another big thing that teachers can do to help these kids is help them get organized. Help them organize their planners, help them keep homework journals of what they need to do, help them maybe have a big calendar so they know big assignments coming up, and just staying on top of everything. When they get behind is when the anxiety gets really bad. Helping kids with anxiety keep order and structure in their daily life can be almost more powerful than any medication prescribed to these children. Teachers can't help children alone. The main problem teachers have when trying to help kids with anxiety is that it's really hard to spot children with anxiety. Children with anxiety are often quiet and can seem like great students who don't need any extra attention. Some of the signs of anxiety, such as restlessness, difficulty sleeping, irritability, or edginess, might never even be present within the child in the classroom setting. It's also hard for teachers to separate the average child who worries about things from a child who actually has a diagnosable disorder. This is where parents need to help. If parents notice any of these symptoms their children are having, and they think they might have an anxiety disorder, these are the things they should do to help. First, they need to talk to their children. Continual communication between the child and the parent is among the most important thing a parent can do. Doing daily check-ins, asking about their worries, asking about how school is going and their friends are going and how they're really just feeling emotionally, checking in about that can be really helpful. Many children with anxiety just want to know that someone is there if they need someone to talk to. The second thing the parents can do is talk to the teachers. Also, keeping a continual conversation going with the teacher is very important. They should be talking to the teacher about big upcoming assignments, and so they know what's going on in the child's academic life, and they can help them out at home with this. Parents should also let the teachers know about any social problems the kids are having so the teachers can keep an eye out for it, because this can be hard in a class of 20 or 30 students. The third thing you can do is get outside help. Some children with more severe anxiety disorders, such as panic disorder or OCD, might need medication in order to succeed academically. Parents should make sure to see a psychiatrist or a psychologist to treat the child so it's not just in their hands. There's no quick solution to helping children with anxiety. For many, these children will have an ongoing problem throughout their life. The main thing is going to be learning how to cope with it and learning strategies to deal with it so it doesn't affect them later on as an adult. Anxiety can be a precursor to other conditions, such as bipolar disorder and depression. It's really important that parents notice these signs young so they can watch their students as they get older to make sure that this doesn't get serious. I would not have gotten to where I am today without my amazing parents and teachers who have helped me out and taught me coping methods so I can deal with my anxiety. The most important takeaway from this presentation is that it doesn't just take one teacher or one parent to help a child who has anxiety. It takes a team of dedicated and caring people in the child's life to help them overcome many of their symptoms, succeed in school, and live a happy and healthy lifestyle.